to another episode of Wacky Talkies. Today's episode is going to be on dance movies. And we have special guest Joe Rodriguez with us. So let me do your special dance.
I only have one move.
The whoa.
Somebody got a text message.
Maybe you.
Me? Yeah, I did. Mine is on vibrate.
And Nate, we have Nate here with us, like always. And
Wank, wank,
you're
wank, 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 wank,
doing the same thing I did.
Yeah, because you stole my move.
Oh my god. And we should have talked about who's gonna have what move.
Yeah. Well, how about this? How about this? The dab.
The dab?
There you go.
Okay, there you go.
That's still cool, right?
I hope so.
We are behind the times. Scoot over a little bit.
When I was in Disney World, when I was working for Disney,
You worked for Disney?
Yeah,
What were you doing?
I was a photographer.
And what happened with that?
Well, it was a program in my program, and I had to finish college.
Well, that's pretty fucking cool though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What were you
right.
saying? What were you saying about it?
Oh yeah, like when I was taking pictures, sometimes when the kid would dab in front of things,
Yeah.
I would get one of two reactions. One was the parents would be like, "That's so dumb. Why are you doing that?" And two, the parents would be like, "Ah, yeah."
Yeah, that's probably
That's
so cool.
what we would be like. Well, we can't help it. It's like, okay, we don't so much want to like tell them, don't do that, you know, because it's not really something bad that they're doing. They're just expressing themselves, you know. It's just stuff that they see online and everywhere, you know. It's not something that we're literally telling them like, yeah, do this, you know, be cool this way, you know. Like it's just whatever they do.
That's lame.
Yeah, it's just them expressing themselves. But so yeah. We're gonna get into the dance movies, I guess.
Yeah,
Get into that?
we're gonna talk about dance films today.
Dance films.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. I'm sorry. Like if I seem so tired, I stayed up watching Stranger Things, and I binged it. Like I did not wait, and I was going like purely off of adrenaline. That's the only thing that kept me going because I had only one cup of coffee, and then I had to stop drinking the coffee because the adrenaline, bro, was like so much. Like my heart was racing, and I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack. Like internally inside my head, I was like, "Calm down."
As you were watching it?
Calm down. Yeah, as it was coming on because I had waited so long. Like, oh my god, I waited so long for it.
Like 1 year? Less than a
It
year?
was more than a year.
It was
It was like almost 2 years, I think.
Oh, okay.
But it was just the anticipation, and it was just like, well, as soon as I see it, like it's starting, and they're just like, oh my god, I'm like hyperventilating. So I was like, yeah, let me not drink any more coffee.
Are you ready for Stranger Things
4?
She's not ready, but she's faint.
Oh, I don't know. This episode, I mean, this season really messed me up,
No
dude.
spoilers.
Like, oh
I've only watched
my God.
episode 2.
No, we're not gonna spoil anything for y'all right now, obviously, but we do want to have the next week. By next week.
Yeah.
Next week's episode is gonna be entirely dedicated to Stranger Things, so you guys know I'm gonna be loving it. I'm gonna be super hyped for that. But yeah, this season, the ending will just crush you.
Oh
It will
no.
crush you. But it may not be what we're thinking it is because there's an end credit. So make sure that you watch the end of episode 8, the end credit.
Alright, sounds good.
So yeah, we'll do that next week. But yeah, I'm sorry if I'm tired and I seem a little bit out of it. I'm tired.
So,
It's worth it.
also, our film is about to premiere today.
Oh yes!
Lonely Hearts Club. Watch it on YouTube, Vimeo, and Facebook, Tumblr, all of those.
Right, so Nate directed it and I cast it. My daughter starred in it, so and then it also got picked up, right?
Yeah, by the Miami Independent Film Festival
That's pretty cool.
in Miami Beach.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I wish we could go to Miami to do that, but anyways, we're also going to introduce Joe Rodriguez, who is also my husband. But we're not going to do all that PDA stuff on here because I know y'all don't want to see that.
I do.
But he is also an electrician, so any jobs that you guys, questions or anything like that, he's a certified electrician. He's always working, so I'm happy that I even got him to be on the show and make time for this.
I'm not allowed to come home broke.
So you went to a school for electrician?
Yes, I did a 4-year course, and then 2 years after that, I'm eligible to take my master's now. So yeah.
So that's what he's going.
So he knows his stuff. So you're getting
No,
good.
definitely,
good
they wouldn't give
quality.
me my license if I didn't know.
No, he really amazes me sometimes because like there's so many mathematical equations on a daily basis that he has to work out in his head, you know, and it's just like I could not do that.
Oh, yeah, math. I'm not a big math guy.
Mainly at lunchtime. 4 for 4. I can do that.
So I guess we'll let you go first and talk about whatever dance
Yeah,
you
we'll talk
want
about
to.
dance.
Now I know when we're talking
Sure.
about dance, we're gonna do like either movies, either shows and musicals and anything that really has to involve like dance,
Yeah.
right? Okay, all right.
Okay. So do I start?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about a movie that kind of I relate to because when I grew up with a lot of breakdancing because it was up and coming when I was like between the ages 6 to like 15, and it was just that era where people would get crews and people have their own cardboards with their beanies.
Were
and
you in a crew?
I was actually in a crew, yes.
What was
And-
the name of the crew?
Well, the name of the crew was like 6ix9ine Crew, which was like, yes, I was young and we were retarded.
Y'all were repping 6ix9ine since then, dang.
Yes, and
Like the rapper 6ix9ine?
no, not like that. douchebag.
No, but I'm saying like back then, yeah, he's in prison now, but I'm saying they were so hardcore.
Yes.
6ix9ine last back then.
So yeah,
And
The
so
name-
you used to break dance.
I used to break dance a little. I wasn't as good as a lot of the people that I've seen, like my friends. They were awesome, but no, it's just something that I like to do with my crew because
Like, could you do a headstand on this very desk right here?
I don't have insurance right now. It's not gonna be done.
Oh, okay. Well, we can definitely understand not being insured.
No, but yes, there was quite a bit of things I could do, like the windmill, flare, and things like that. But like these guys knew from ground up, like from the actual groundwork to actually, doing head spins and like, doing acrobatical things. But yeah, the name of the movie is called Beat Street, and it was released in 1984. It was just like
80s.
yeah, so I was born 2 years after that. I was in '86, so I seen it when I was like 6, 7 years old, and I couldn't stop watching it. Like my favorite character was Ramo, and Ramo, he was a tagger, and he would go like in the South Bronx, like all these
So it's based in New York?
yes, it's based in New York. So yes, it was filmed in New York, South Bronx, and there was a crew. So they had the breaker. I think his name was Lee. He was a brother. He was a younger brother. He was the best one, I think. And then you had other people in their crew. One of them met this girl. She was a composer. She was an actual professional dancer. So she met. That's the storyline. So she meets the main character. I think his name was what's his name? Guy Davis.
Yeah.
And so he was like kind of their leader. But he met this girl, and she was a composer, and this girl told him, hey, I can put you on TV if you have your crew. They wanted to showcase their skills. So their crew was like,
How did she get him on TV? Just because she was a professional dancer?
Well, they met. So yeah, they met, and then it's like club scene, the street scene. Like I loved a lot of it because it was just like grimy and like, this is what actually happens, in the streets, and when people go and get together, they battle. One crew has another crew, and they meet in the subway, like.
Now, does it ever get like violent or anything?
No,
like
see,
that?
it's not. That's why I love the movie because it was not like a violent type of thing. Like it would just go and they would just dance it out. Like they actually battle. It wasn't like any drugs involved or anything like that. It was just straight dance.
I'm sure there may have been.
Yes, but I'm saying, like the way they filmed the movie, it was just like clean. Like it wasn't. They didn't try to make it about that. So Raymond was like a tagger. He was my favorite character because.
Was he part of the crew?
He was part of the crew. He wouldn't dance so much a lot, but he had artwork and he showcased his crew and everything through that, and the artwork was beautiful. But yeah,
He was basically their marketing.
Pretty much.
He did their marketing.
Yes. So he tagged up and it tagged up a lot of stuff, and he was really good at it. And then Lee was my other favorite character because he was just a kid and he wasn't scared of anybody. He battled anybody.
So it was good.
Yeah, he was really good. And it displays like a lot of how back in the day how crews were gathered and they meet, and then music was like a big involvement. So yes, this was my favorite dance movie, you know, because it was breakdancing is not as easy as, you know, the things you see today on TV. Breakdancing actually took physical ability to actually do. And
so do you think that like was what made you get into breakdancing and being crews later, because you saw this movie at that age? At 6,
well, yes,
7?
because it was up and coming. So you see these movies, and of course there's a lot of good classics like breaking and things like that, which were probably a little bit more detailed when it came to the dancing. But this one was like my favorite one, the first one that I've seen, because it introduced me to breakdancing.
Okay. And can you watch it anywhere now?
Yes, I think you can actually pull it up on YouTube, and it's
Amazon
like
Prime?
$3. And
It's on Amazon
it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, so you can rent movies through YouTube now.
Yeah,
Right.
they have some free stuff on YouTube as well.
Yeah, they have
But you
lots
have to have
of
a
stuff.
subscription? Okay.
No, it's available for free.
Well, I did not know that.
Yeah, but go check it out, because it was actually it showed like New York, South Bronx, like really grimy, dirty, like it was like back
Oh,
then.
it's Beat Street. I thought
Yes,
you were saying
Beach Street.
Beach Street.
Oh, that's so too.
Right?
What did you think I was saying?
Beach Street.
No,
I don't
Beach
think
Street.
I don't think South Bronx has any
B-E-A-T.
beaches.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of confused. Like, it's Beat, B-E-A-T.
Okay.
Street. Okay.
Beat Street. Watch it now. It sounds really
Don't say
interesting.
it, please, no, I'm just playing. Go ahead.
Okay.
You're
It's
next.
my turn.
Your
Alright, so
turn.
we are gonna go back in time. Right, Ruby?
Again?
Yeah, again, we're gonna go back to the distant year of 2010.
Okay.
And,
Holy shit.
and the good old city of New York City.
Again, New York.
Yeah, namely, I think it's just Manhattan this time around.
Okay.
And we're gonna be talking about the Darren Aronofsky film Black Swan.
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
It's about a committed dancer who struggles to maintain her sanity after winning a lead role in the production of Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. And we all know that the little girl is played by Natalie Portman.
Mm-hmm.
And her name is Nina. So,
Nina.
So a big plot in this film is about achieving artistic perfection, no matter what.
Yes, like it was so strict, right, and crucial, like every single one of their moves that they had to execute.
The funny thing about it is it wasn't brought on by her. I mean, by like a teacher or an instructor or like the director of the opera or the ballet. It's a ballet, not an opera.
Yeah.
Ballet. It was actually just brought on by herself. Like,
Yeah.
she put herself on these high standards that she needed to achieve, like perfection. And it was like the instructor who told her, like, man, you don't need to be so uptight about it, bro. Why don't you just like
Why don't you just like
up.
go smoke some fucking weed or something?
That would probably help her out a lot.
Yeah.
Because she was like, you keep on trying to do things exact. You gotta not do that, man.
And she was like, no, I have to be perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so people are like that, like they're like that, they're
Perfectionists.
perfectionists. Like it really messes with
Especially when it comes to dance, I think there's, if you're really, really into it, I don't see why you don't want to be perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah, and everyone.
Yeah, but like that's right. Because what she does is that she does it so much that it eventually kills her in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Because she like, and the entire story is her transition to that side, because she was cast as the Swan Queen, which is like the lead role. And as she plays the Swan Queen, there's like two different dual characters. There's the White Swan and the Black Swan. Now the White Swan she can do like just fine, because that one does require perfection and all that kind of stuff, because that's like the good side. Then there's the Black Swan, and that one needs to be more chaotic and everything, and because that's the bad side. And the director, that's why the director of the show was like, you can't be always all perfection, because you gotta beat the Black Swan, and the Black Swan is all not about that.
So the ballet was basically the ballet was set up in a way that one person had the lead, but that one lead portrayed both good and bad.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Exactly it. And then there's like a couple of events transpired, especially with the arrival of Lily, who's played by Mila Kunis in the film, who who acts as kind of like a threatening thing to her because like now.
Well, but then again, it's all in her head
Yeah.
that she's a threat, right? Yeah.
That she's a threat because Kunis is actually like good at not caring so much about perfection, and that's what made her like on the radar of the instructor too. And then when he made her Nina's stand-in for the ballet, that's when kind of like things
She
kind of
snapped, yeah.
yeah, that's when things kind of
She's
snapped.
like, oh hell.
And then she has like some kind of fever dream of her stabbing
Yeah.
Mila Kunis.
But that's all in her head.
Yeah, it's all
right?
in her head. She
Everything
did die.
is like all in her head, and
Mhm.
she's over
Yeah.
analyzing everything.
Yeah. And
Sounds like a lot of sexual tension if you ask me.
that's true because she does imagine that she has a lesbian experience.
I need to see this movie now.
You didn't see this?
I've
movie?
never seen Black Swan.
Oh my
It's
god.
a really good
I
film.
forgot that they do that.
Yeah. And it also kind of shows a transition from innocent childhood to maturity.
Uh-huh.
So that's what that whole thing is. And did you know like her name is Nina, which also means
Niña.
little girl, yeah, in Spanish.
Well, yeah, if you put the little tilde mark over
Yeah.
because you gotta say niña.
It also means 9mm in gangster terms.
Yeah, well, we have the Urban Dictionary right here. It is. It's
Yeah, I
a
know, but what are we measuring 9mm?
What?
What are we measuring 9mm for?
No, pistol.
That's the name
Oh,
of pistol. That's what you
pistol.
call a pistol.
Oh, okay.
Nina.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah.
So
You listen to rap music?
I've never heard that term before.
What song? What rap song does it come
I
on?
think it's come out on quite a bit, but there's a popular one. I think.
I forgot.
I
I can't
have
remember
to
now.
know.
Anyways,
Okay.
they
So-
do have it. Yeah.
Yeah, and another reason what Lily does for Nina was to help transition her to that whole mature awakening.
Mhm.
And also because she also has like this overbearing mother that's constantly
On rats.
constantly like getting at
I
her,
had one of those before.
who constantly monitors her, tells her to do this, this, and that, or else.
For Nina, right?
Yeah, for Nina.
Yeah. And then Mila Kunis just comes in the picture and she's just another ballet dancer, right?
You're right.
And then she just makes up all that stuff about her. And I think I remember at the end that she thinks she's like stabbing Mila Kunis' character.
Mhm.
What's her name?
Lily.
Lily. Nina thinks that she's stabbing her, but then she ends up like stabbing herself, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
what happens
I
then?
think so. Because she imagines her killing Lily, which is supposed to be symbolic of her killing her innocence.
Yeah.
But it turns out it was all in her head and she was alive.
Yeah.
And then she dies at the end.
Because she killed herself, right?
Yeah,
Like,
kinda.
she should've-
Killed herself.
You'll have to watch it. It's,
I'm gonna have to watch it
and
now.
you probably haven't watched it because you thought it was one of those
Yes.
skitzer movies that you like to call it.
Skitzer, what is Skitzer?
Well, like a perfect one is one of my favorites actually. It's Inception,
Oh,
where
You don't know
don't
like
know
the
for
ending
sure
if
because
it
it's a
ended that
cliffhanger,
way or
you know.
not.
Oh,
You know.
okay.
and it's meant to be that way, and I just hate that.
Oh,
It just
okay.
hurts
Like,
me.
and Shutter Island. Well,
Shutter
no,
Island is a perfect one.
Mm-hmm.
no, because in the end you do realize that he was. Well, no, because it leaves that question in your head whether he was just acting like that on purpose.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
not.
I know that Black Swan is. Aronofsky makes it very clear that it's in her head, so it's not
Yeah.
like up to interpretation. or
Yeah,
anything.
so it's probably not like a skitzer like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you all, yeah, because at the end they do show that it was just all in her head.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Would they classify that as schizophrenia?
Yeah, that's exactly what schizophrenia is.
Okay. Yeah. Where can you watch it now?
You can watch it on Cinemax now.
Is that the only place?
Yeah.
Cinemax. Okay.
Also, Winona Ryder is also in it.
What?
Yeah, Winona Ryder is also in it. She's
Wait,
also in
I
this other
forgot,
show
who is
called,
she?
I don't know.
Who is she on that movie?
She plays like,
Black Swan. An instructor?
No, she plays a retired ballerina who's like, you're retired now, you're done,
Oh,
kind of like
man.
person. And she's very jaded because her time is done, but she doesn't want it to be done.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I love Winona Ryder. I love Winona Ryder, but mainly in Stranger Things.
Of course.
Like,
Yeah, not
She
Beetlejuice.
she just like knocked it out of the fucking
She was
park.
great in Beetlejuice.
She
like,
was really good in Beetlejuice.
I liked her in Beetlejuice. I liked her in Edward Scissorhands or stuff like that. But I feel like those characters were not so hard because she could relate to it a lot more being like at the age that she was when she was making those movies and stuff like that. This one in Stranger Things, this one role where she's a mother who loses a child and a like mama bear who's always protective of her kid and the other kids. Like it's just her character's really, really strong, and you can tell like she's done some of her best acting in Stranger Things. Okay, we're not gonna go talk about that. We're talking about that next week. Next
We
week.
just have a whole segment.
I can't help it. I'm sorry. I'm obsessed.
Next one.
Okay, so the movie that I want to talk about is one of my favorite dance movies called Dirty Dancing.
That's a good one.
It's not a porn. It is somewhat, sensual, but that's just because
soft porn.
the dance is, something sensual for some people. It's a way to, dance with someone in a sensual way and be able to express those kind of feelings and make it, something that you both enjoy, And this was actually, it came out in the year that I was born, in 1987. So here I am again with my 80s movies. I can't remember what age I was when I actually watched it. I just remember understanding the concept of how, this guy was just really trying to show everybody, like, what he really was about, and everybody had him pegged as, like, a really bad guy, Patrick Swayze's character, who his name was,
Patrick Swayze?
Johnny, of course, Johnny. So Johnny was pegged like a bad guy, and then he had like these like he was there at this resort that what is it called? It was like a country club, more like a country club. He worked there as a dance instructor, but then you kind of see like aside from that, he has this other crew, I guess you would call it, where it's a bunch of his friends and they go and they actually do a different kind of dance than anyone at the country club is accustomed to seeing, which is why they start, they call it dirty dancing, because it's a little bit more sensual and sexual the way that they dance. And so back then it was kind of like frowned upon, and everybody thought, he was like, they're all like skis balls and whores and stuff like that.
And they're like,
yeah. But it's basically like a movie of rebellion, and I'm a big sucker for movies like that, where people rebel and they're like, hey, just because you don't like it or just because you don't know what's going on or understand it, you're not supposed to sit here and judge me off of it or judge these people off of it. We're actually good people, and that's what they end up showcasing at the end. And he does it with the help of this other character who's played by Jennifer Grey, and her name is Baby. And it kind of isn't meant to be that way, like sexual at all. It's like a nickname that her family gave her. Like, I guess they wanted her to always be called Baby. I don't know. It was kind of weird.
When I was watching that movie, it's like, why is he constantly calling her Baby? It's like, you guys met, why are they saying that? And then I finally realized it's her name.
Speak it into existence. Baby.
That's so funny. But yeah, so like he meets her because her and her family, they go to this country club or whatever, and it ends up being that the partner that he was gonna go perform this dirty dancing with, because he did it on the side for money, at other clubs and stuff like that, clubs that were okay with that were entertained by that. His partner ends up getting sick. There's like some drama in the back end there. I don't really want to go into much detail on it. But anyway, she ends up having to be his partner because he asked her if, she would mind, because he sees that she's interested in the dancing. So they kind of develop a whole relationship off of that while they're practicing for the dancing. And I love those scenes, where they show them practicing, because she's like totally rigid, and she's not, like, she's still young and she doesn't know anything about being sexual yet, she hasn't experienced that quite yet, and so she's like really rigid, and like he's like caressing her arm on one scene, and she's like just constantly laughing because it's tickling her, so she's being like somewhat childish. And so you see her coming into womanhood as well, because of the relationship that she develops with Patrick Swayze while they're practicing this dance. And then you get to see the dance fully executed. It looks great, it looks nice. Then at the end, you
That
know, they
famous
show
scene.
the whole, the whole like jump.
lift
There's like this
scene.
whole lift.
Oh yeah, that
scene.
famous scene created a lot of accidents for a lot of people.
And they're like, lift me up, and then they like totally fail.
Yeah. I watched that movie in the theaters.
You did?
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
They were having a re-release.
A re-release,
special,
yeah. They'll do that like at Alamo Draft House. They'll re-release old movies, you know. So that's what I love about Alamo. But yeah, so basically at the end they end up, you know, basically showing off at this country club, and they're basically like, we don't care if y'all like it or not. We're gonna show y'all what we've been working on and have this like whole room dance with us, you know. And so it kind of just ends up on a good feeling. It's a feel good movie, I would say.
My favorite part is when that guy, when baby's father was giving that guy like his entire tuition to go to medical school.
Oh,
and then he was
yeah.
like, well, thank you. I've heard to hear about that other person. He's like, what did you just say? Grab your money.
Yeah, no, it was that whole drama.
Yeah, I know.
Remember, so his
Like I always think, like, man, if you just said thank you and left,
You would
Yeah,
have
you
been good.
still have that money, you
Yeah.
moron.
because he's the one that ends up being the reason why that girl, his Patrick Swayze's first partner, couldn't end up doing the
Oh, yeah,
dance with
because
him
she was
because she
pregnant.
was pregnant and she ended up getting an abortion, but like it was not an abortion done professionally. She just went to some hack, I guess, who used dirty instruments on her or something like that, and so she ended up being really ill or becoming really ill. And it turns out that the guy that the dad was giving the money to was the one who got her pregnant. And he said something about, oh, now I can pay for her abortion or something like that.
I don't
What did he say?
remember.
He said something like that the dad was like, you mother.
Curse.
So yeah, that's
It's about
one
acceptance.
of my favorite. And I really
Being
don't
yourself.
even like dancing movies because like I don't like musicals. But this one you really don't see too much.
See, it's the
like
singing and dancing.
yeah, it's more like it's more dialogue than it is the singing and the dancing.
Okay.
You know, because they're not so much singing; they're mainly dancing, and so it's evened out, and so it's not like constant singing and dancing that I can't stand.
It's not like Into the Woods, the Disney movie.
Yeah.
I couldn't even finish watching that, and then I found out that Rocket Man was a musical, and I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to see that. I really wanted to see that.
It's a jukebox musical.
What does that mean?
It means it's a musical based on songs that are already written
Yeah.
and popularized.
Yeah.
Alright, I need to use the restroom. Just keep on going.
And now, while Nate is gone, Joe and I are gonna talk about our relationship problems. Just like,
She beats me.
wait, babe, your phone?
Just died.
Okay, give me Nate's phone. I don't even know if he has a code, but I wanted to see my other movies. Let's think about some other. Let's name some other movies.
Yep, there's a go.
Okay, there's a code. So let me do some honorable mentions while we're here. So Grease, that's definitely a movie that I never thought I'd be into, but I think it has a lot to do with the fact that my mom watched it like nonstop when I was little, and she still does. So I think that's probably why I like it. But it's not a bad movie, right? Do you like Grease?
No, Grease was pretty good. It was like, it's somewhat like a musical, but it's a lot of dialogue, so it's not like, it's not
Evens
cringy.
out, yeah.
Yes.
It is cringy. There's a lot of cringy parts.
Well, yeah, but it's not cringy through the whole movie. Like,
When I think about Grease though, like now when I see them, I'm like, those people look so old to be in high school. Like,
Alright, so Grease.
John Travolta's a man
I was just
already.
doing honorable mentions,
Okay,
and I
so-
mentioned Grease.
Alright, so what's the next one?
Babe, you?
Oh, honorable mentions.
No, we're doing another movie.
Oh,
If you
okay.
want to do honorable mentions.
We're doing another. I didn't know we had to get to. Okay.
Remember, I told you to get two. But look, our phone just died. Can we use your phone?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So.
Our 3-year-old constantly uses both of our phones, and so they're always dead. Merp.
Okay, you go first. I'll go to.
No, do you have one in mind so I can just look it up for you? No?
Well, is it my turn then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, so we're gonna go back in time again.
Again.
Yeah, back to the distant year of 1962.
Oh my,
Wow.
that was, yeah.
And we're gonna be talking about the Adam Shankman film that was released in 2007 called Hairspray.
Oh, okay.
man.
Okay, I need this.
Sorry.
Oh, well then there you go.
Called Hairspray. And
Hairspray.
yeah, we're gonna go back to 1962 Baltimore.
I didn't really like that movie.
It was a great film.
Okay.
Did not watch it.
And it is about a pleasantly plump teenager, Tracy Turnblad. That's what it says here.
Pleasantly plump.
That's what it says on the official synopsis of the film. The official logline of the film, I should say.
Yeah, we're just gonna make note of that because Nate is not calling this girl pleasantly plump.
What? Played by Nikki Blonsky. Well, she was introduced there. I've never seen her in anything else since.
Okay. Yeah, no, me either. But you know where I saw her recently?
Right.
She was on FaceTime with. Fuck. Who
Who's
was
that?
I can't remember if it was with Lunar Vacation or Finn. And she was just like, hey, it's so-and-so from Hairspray, but you guys probably already knew that. She looked like she was not doing well.
Like
Like she
health
didn't have,
wise?
yeah, like she didn't have no makeup on. So she looked like really dead.
Well, hopefully you get better.
Yeah. Hopefully
Blonsky.
you get better and we see you in something new soon.
She's like, it's just fucking makeup, guys.
So she tries to teach Baltimore a thing or two about integration after landing a spot on a local TV dance show.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's also, I believe it's also the last performance Amanda Bynes is in.
Is in?
Yeah.
Is this something that, what's his name, Spike Lee would call a white savior movie?
Guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Because, it's about like during the civil rights movement
Right.
and all that, and segregation was going around, and in the dance scene they would only have one specific day a week, or it might have been a week or a month or something like that, and they called it the Negro Day.
Negro Day?
Yeah, and it's where they said.
I'm gonna say the N-word.
No. where they just celebrate like jazz and R and soul music, gospel music, just for that one day, and the rest is just white stuff, and that's what they did.
That's how it was back then,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and when Tracy and Penny, who's Amanda Bynes' character, went to go and audition for the show, there was like this split between them, between like the white people and the African American people. And so
Where they were
like split.
auditioning?
Yeah, I think that's how it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. But I remember there was a scene like that where they were split off and they were not allowed to talk to each other.
Until they were on the show.
Yeah.
Right, then they would.
Mm-hmm. And then one day when Tracy was at school, she was given detention. So she has to go to detention. And guess where she finds in detention?
Where?
She finds the African American kids.
I don't believe that.
They were all in detention?
Well, they were hanging out there. And they were just like there dancing and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then she was like, wow, that's cool.
And then she gets them to go to the show or what?
Well, what happens is after that she gets introduced to this new style of dance that's not white people dancing.
So actual dancing.
Yeah. And then the African Americans were like, wow, you're so cool. You're one cool cat. You dance really cool for a white person. And,
Says no. African American.
yeah, and I think it was played by Elijah Kelly. His name was Seaweed.
Seaweed.
What the hell?
Seaweed.
Mind you, this is a musical, okay?
Seaweed.
It's a musical.
Yeah. And then
Seaweed.
and then he eventually introduces her to Queen Latifah's character,
Uh-huh.
Motormouth is her name.
Oh my god.
And
Motor?
Yeah, we don't watch musicals that
Wow,
often.
bro.
So that's when she was
Bitch,
like,
Watermouth over here, right quick.
so that's when like Tracy realizes, hey, African American dance should be along with the white dance, and so it's her.
Well, what were they
trying to do
doing
that.
before on the Negro night?
Just like singing like a song or two and
Like a gospel song.
Yeah, well, it was more like jazz.
Uh-huh.
It was more jazz, and that's it.
And so this was what? Hip hop?
No, hip hop wasn't invented in 1962.
Well, what were they doing that was different? What kind of dance were they doing?
It was more break dancing,
Okay.
kind of more pop and lock type stuff.
Okay.
So that kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's when Tracy was like, we gotta help them get into the programming that's every day.
Mm-hmm.
We should make every day Negro Day.
So I got a question. Was there any jazz hands in this
Yes,
movie?
there
I
was.
can see it throughout the movie.
There was a lot of them.
Was it mainly the white people doing jazz
I
hands?
think so.
Oh my god.
Just want to let you just see it in my head.
And you can watch it now on Netflix. It is actually a really
it's
good
on
film.
Netflix.
It's a really good film, and you should watch it.
And then she gets them to try to go and get them on the show. She gets these people to be on the show?
Mhm.
Okay.
Cause and also we did have all this other subplot with Tracy's parents
Mm-hmm.
going on, cause they were having a tough time or whatever. Played by we got Edna, who's the mother, played by John Travolta in drag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
forgot about that.
And Wilbur,
So
played
if
by
you want to
Christopher
see John
Walken.
Travolta in drag, you watch this.
What was it? Nobody, absolutely nobody. I'll play John.
No one, absolutely no one. And John Travolta's like, I'll play the mom in drag.
Yeah. But it's kind of funny because the host, played by James Marsden, Corny, was really all for that whole integration thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the actions of Velma, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, who didn't want them to.
So she didn't want. She was like the bad guy.
Yeah, she was the villain.
Okay.
Michelle Pfeiffer, the villain?
Yeah.
I have to see this.
And then they do it. Segregation is no more, thanks to Tracy Turnblad, the white savior.
The white savior.
Segregation is no more.
Oh, I get it now. White savior.
That's what they call those movies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, that's what Spike Lee calls those movies.
Spike Lee's onto something.
Yeah, it's funny. I like how he calls all his movies joints. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Spike
joint,
Lee
this joint I worked on. Yeah, that's the cool thing.
Yeah. All right, your turn.
And well, you want to just do some honorable mentions? Do you have any honorable mentions? Okay, let me see your phone. Because I want to do honorable mentions. We'll do. I guess if this counts as a good dancing movie, but let me see. Does cheerleading count?
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Okay, so
That's still a dance movie.
yeah. Another one of my favorites is the original because they made a 2 and a 3 and it just didn't go good after that.
What was the one the parody one?
Parody one?
Yeah. What was the name of that one?
What was it called?
Brought It On or something?
No. Let me see, Bring It On. Parody.
Is the movie
It
that
was
you're
called,
talking about is Bring It On?
Yeah.
Bring It On.
Not Another Teen
That's what
Movie
it was.
is where they had it on. Yeah, it's so stupid. But this is the original one. So the original one was, it came out in 2000, in the year 2000. So we're going back in time again in our time
Really, bro?
machine.
2000?
To 2000?
2000.
That's
That
not
was
going back in time.
It is going back in time. We're in 2019. We would have to go back in time. What are you talking about? So this movie is based around the Toros. I think they do it like this, or do they do it like this? The Toros cheerleading squad from Rancho Carne High School in San Diego.
Sandiagans.
So it's a really good, I think another feel-good movie, I guess I would say.
It ends happily and it's very nice and heartwarming.
It's heartwarming, it's nice. Basically it just follows this cheerleading squad who has these competitions that they're, always placed in, and to these girls, it's everything, it's their life, their life depends on it, so they have to win championship every year, this is what they live and breathe, cheerleading, right? I necessarily wasn't a big cheerleader type person growing up. What mainly attracted me to it is all the dance routines. You know how the cheerleaders do the whole flipping and all of that cool stuff. You know, I really like that, and I really like to hear the music that they put behind it. You know how they mash all the music up and stuff like that. So to me, I like seeing that as a visual, you know, as a creative visual that they put together. And so the story's pretty good as well. Like I said, it follows the cheerleading squad, and then there's this whole drama that develops in the middle of the movie where there's another squad from another high school that they start bumping heads with, and they do this whole black versus white thing because this school, the Toros, school that the film is based around is mainly a white, cheerleading squad, and then the opposing one that's they're the Clovers. They like they make it seem like they're from like a really poor neighborhood, bad neighborhood, and it's a squad of mostly African Americans. So they do this whole white versus black thing, but at the end they make it like a whole like cheerleading is what brought them together. Okay. And they kind of like understood one another and how, they're both competitive, but at the end of the day, they're like, hey, like, good luck, because we're all experiencing the same thing, we're all here to have.
We have to go back to our LA mansions, and y'all have to go back to Section 8, so. I understand.
But they don't make it like that, they don't. That's like so much behind the story, but they just make it something simple. They make it a simple problem with a simple solution, along with good dancing and good music put together. And the cast, was pretty great. It's Kristen Dunst and Elijah.
Peyton Reeves made that film too.
Who?
Peyton Reeves. He's the guy who made Ant-Man.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He would go on to make Ant-Man after that.
He would go on to make Ant-Man after Bring It On.
No more cheerleading.
But not after.
So the director was Peyton Reed. So it is Kristen Dunst and what's her name?
Wade's wife.
I think it's pronounced Kirsten.
Kirsten Dunst. Sorry.
Gabrielle Union.
Gabrielle Union
she
was.
Would be mad at you.
Who?
Kirsten.
Oh yeah, Kirsten Dunst. And then Gabrielle Union plays the team, like the leader of the squad for the African American squad. So that's who they're constantly in conflict. Like Kirsten Dunst and Gabrielle Union are the ones that are in conflict.
Don't forget to mention.
What? Don't forget to mention what?
That the white squad was actually taking the moves from the black squad. That's another thing that they find out about is that the black squad or the African American squad finds out that the Toros who have been winning all of these competitions were actually winning all these competitions because they were stealing their moves. Mm-hmm. And when Kristen Dunst becomes the captain after the other girl leaves or whatever who was captain before her, she finds out about it because she didn't know that that's how they had been winning this whole time. And so she's left she's like the one that steps up and she's like, I'm not gonna steal these dance moves anymore. We're gonna have to win it fair and square. Mm-hmm. So that's why Gabrielle Union kind of like respects her, and they end up. We're gonna have to pay her choreography.
Yeah, because they go into that whole thing where they start, trying to get new dance moves by hiring different choreographers and learning different dance moves. So there's a whole like bunch of scenes where they're doing that.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a really fun movie.
That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah. I'll do some honorable mentions. I know a lot of people want me to mention Magic Mike, but I mean, I'm not a person that gets their boat floated by men who dance in that way and dress in that way.
Here's a fun fact. She met me there.
No, I didn't.
I was working and she tipped me horribly.
At the fictional Magic Mike strip club?
No, he's saying that he was a stripper before. He likes to play around like that.
Okay.
To his amusement, not mine. But I really just think I just think that the storyline was really bad for Magic Mike. I mean, it was just like really all about just showing Channing Tatum and his dancing. Like
and McConaughey was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't really. Yeah, I guess. Like it was really just for women who like that. That's all I'm gonna say about that. No, I haven't even seen the second one. I will mention You Got Served because I really like that one too. Footloose. course, everybody likes
Kevin
that.
Bacon. It's the shit.
Kevin Bacon. Let's see what else. I don't really want to mention West Side Story because I haven't. Well, I guess I should. It's an honorable mention for sure.
It's one of the first dances.
Yeah.
You can watch it on Prime.
You can watch it on Prime.
Yeah.
You want to mention any?
Yeah, I got a couple more.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a couple more to fill up the time. Yeah.
Are we gonna go back in time?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. So we're gonna go back in time again, back to the distant time of 2010.
Okay.
Again.
Again, 2010.
And we're gonna
dancing
before
time.
yeah, we're gonna go back in 2010. In 2010, we're gonna go across the pond to London.
Okay.
And it is the Max Giwa and Dania Pasquini film Street Dance.
I haven't seen it.
Sounds like a fighting movie.
Yeah, it's a really good film too, because it's about okay. So the synopsis is: in order to win a street dance competition, a dance crew is forced to work with the ballet dancers at a royal dance school in exchange for rehearsal space.
That sounds kind of like Step Up.
Yep.
So, well, this is better, okay?
Because this has knives involved, right?
I don't know about knives. I don't think so.
Well, there's something involved when you get hurt.
The thing about this film is it's about like the combination of two different styles of dance, and the main character, I believe her name is Carly. Let me look up what her name is, what her character name is. Yeah. Street Dance. You can watch Street Dance on Prime, by the way, if you have it.
Oh, I didn't mention where you could watch the other ones, did I?
I don't think so.
Bring It On.
Bring
I think
It
it was
On.
on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might be on Netflix.
So yeah, so it's about so basically the film starts off with this dance crew, this break dance crew, and the leader of said crew is like, I'm quitting, I'm done. So hey girlfriend, you be the leader now. And then she's like, what? And then he's like,
I don't know how to dance that good.
and then he's like, well, peace out. And then, so now her rehearsal space is gone because she doesn't know what to do because she doesn't know how to lead a dance group. So she struck a deal with a ballet instructor at the Royal Dance Academy in London. And they were like, she was like, you can join my rehearsal space. You can use a rehearsal space if you use the ballerinas in your dance routine and compete in the championships
Okay.
with them. So now she
So
has
there's a championship for, like for ballet.
no for breakdancing.
So the instructor wanted the breakdancers to use their ballerinas in the breakdancing competitions?
Yeah.
Why?
I think she was trying to teach the ballerinas how to have like some kind of passion
Okay.
within it, and she
Okay.
thought that the break dancers would help them do that,
Okay.
and also kind of expose them to a new type of dance,
dance.
not just ballet, and to like show, and also to teach the break dancers that there's all dance is just dance, not one is better than the other. Because in the beginning they were both like really like put their nose up against each other. The ballerinas were all like, we're classically trained, we're the best. And the break dancers were all like, yeah, well we are cool and stuff.
Yeah.
But y'all suck in the streets.
Yeah. We got street cred.
Yeah, I know. So now they have to teach the ballerinas how to dance break. So that's what the story is about.
That actually sounds interesting. To see ballerinas learning break and then break dancers learning.
Or some of them
Do they
like,
learn ballet?
A little bit. They show like a little bit of it.
Okay.
Or
So
some-
is it mainly revolving around the ballerinas thinking that they're better than anybody? And then bringing them down to be humble?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
Because like as like their rehearsals keep on going, they realize, hey, this is pretty tight. I'm kind of enjoying this. So they kind of stop being all all in their heads about it and actually kind of started accepting.
They started bringing their heads out of their asses.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they started like accepting, hey, this is a pretty cool style of dance, and they started actually practicing and trying to get better at it for the routine.
And do they win a competition?
I don't know. It kind of like it ends right after their routine is done.
What?
They're like, cut.
You don't get to see?
No, we don't.
Trophies are not in the budget.
Oh man.
Because what they're winning is like a national thing, and if they win that, they become like the best dance crew in the United Kingdom, and then they get to compete in the international stage in New York City. So
okay, so do they win one of those?
Do they win anything
like
at all?
insinuating that they're gonna go to nationals or anything like that?
There was a sequel, but I never watched it, so I might have been about that. So
That's gay. I'm gonna watch a movie and then they're gonna show what they ended up doing.
why
Do they show the whole?
say like
Happy
that?
Pride
Do
Month.
they have? I know, right? That's such a bad habit that I have.
Mhm.
But like, I would really like to see how they got their routine together and they perform it. You know?
You're gonna have to watch the movie to get that, because there was also this one scene where the ballet instructor took the breakdance leader out to a ballet recital, and then when she was watching it, she was like, "Whoa, this is amazing!"
Is this what you call?
Dancing?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, and like watching ballet to begin with is very beautiful.
Mhm.
You know, of course. But.
To me, I call it boring.
Oh,
I'm being honest.
That's because you don't dance it.
No.
But to watch it, it's actually something nice, like just to watch them. I mean, based off of movies that I've seen, it's hard, you know. You gotta give it up to them, and you gotta.
It's also hard to watch.
It's like seeing how bruised their feet get, and you know how they need to be so flexible, and all of that they do.
Yeah, no, I'd rather watch sports.
Okay,
I
fine.
want to be flexible and
Alright,
be hurt all the time.
my favorite sport is gymnastics. You don't need to be flexible for that, right, Ruby?
Yes,
Yeah.
you do need to be.
Oh, yeah. All right, so moving on, Street Dance. Watch it on Prime. It's a pretty good film. I mean. Okay, so we're gonna go back in time once again, further back in time, but we're gonna stay in England, but we're not gonna be in London. We're gonna be like in rural England.
Okay.
We're gonna go back in time in 1984.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about the Stephen Daldry 2000 film, Billy Elliot.
Oh, I've seen it.
I have not. Did I see that?
Actually, I don't know if you have, but I've seen it, and I actually like the movie.
It's a really great film.
Yes.
And it's about a talented young boy, the titular
Yes.
Billy Elliot, played by Jamie Bell, who eventually will go on to play Tintin in The Adventures of Tintin and The Thing in the now shunned Fantastic Four film.
Now shunned.
And so it's about Elliot, who becomes torn between his unexpected love of dance and the disintegration of his family. Because during this time, it was during a time in England known as the Great Coal Miners' Strike.
Mm-hmm.
So there was this whole thing within the Miners' Union and the National Coalition Board, because there were like disputes between the two, and so Elliot's brother and father were both coal miners, and they were both involved in this strike. So they weren't working, so they were basically just striking. So during this time, Elliot was going to boxing lessons, and as he was boxing, he was told to, practice a little extra more or something like that, and to give the keys to a dance instructor who was also there when he was done, and this dance instructor's name was Wilkinson.
Okay.
Wilkinson.
Why was the dance instructor at the boxing gym?
Because he gotta have quick feet too. No,
Yeah. Because she was also teaching a ballet class there.
Okay.
And Wilkinson is played by Julie Waters. So when he saw these, because she was teaching like a juniors class.
So they were like young.
Yeah. So when he was, because he was also really young, he was like around that same age. He was like 11 years old. So well, he was seeing these other 11-year-old girls do this dance. He's like, wow, this is pretty interesting. I think I should try it a bit.
But were there any boys involved at that time? So it was nothing but girls.
Yeah, it was nothing but girls. So when he started getting to it, he was like, wow, I'm actually really enjoying this. But at the same time, he was really conflicted because, hey, I'm a guy. Social society says that I shouldn't be into this. So he became really conflicted with that.
And I should be boxing.
Yeah,
basically.
I should be doing something manly like boxing or wrestling or something like that.
Slap boxing. No, but I seen the movie was actually pretty good because he like expresses himself through that whole, was it a tap dance or?
Oh yeah.
And
it was like a water dance or a tap
yeah,
dance.
it was kind of crazy because I've never heard the sound before, but I'm not into tap dance or nothing like that. But this kid made it look cool.
There was a scene known as the Dance of Defiance where his dad catches him dancing ballet and teaching his friend, who's also a guy, ballet. And now his friend is actually gay. But he was still in the closet and nobody knew that he was gay.
Right.
So he was teaching him how to do ballet, and when his dad walked in on him, he was like, oh, how dare you.
He was like masculine, what do you call it?
Masculine toxicity? Yeah.
Masculine toxicity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he didn't say anything, he was like really like, I'm gonna stand here and be grumpy.
Toxic masculinity. That's
so,
what it is.
Yeah, like where are you going?
And so Elliot was like, you know what? I don't care what you say. I'm gonna dance. And so he does that tap dance thing. And it was like,
while his dad's looking at him.
yeah, while his dad's looking at him, and after he's done, he just walks out.
It was most Morse code for fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. And in that moment, actually, that's when his dad actually finally realizes, oh, wow, he's actually really good at dance. Maybe I should support him and not bring him down.
And not be a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what he does. So after that, that's when he has his character arc and actually helps him get into the Royal Ballet School in London.
Oh, that's such a good. Aww.
It was a good dad at that point, yes.
Did you see the second part? So
Oh my
Billy
God.
Elliot's dad?
What? Gets into ballet?
No.
So before
and
that,
he was secretly gay too.
because before that, Elliot was really like, because when he finally told his dad that he was doing ballet, he's like, ballet? You can't do ballet. That's only girls do ballet.
Oh my god, and is it like all in English accent?
They were Scottish.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, they're Scottish, so they have an accent?
Mhm.
I want to watch it just for that alone.
Okay. But they were still in England, but it was like bordering on Scotland.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it was like, so it was that whole idea of toxic masculinity, like you guys do this and girls do that, you can't do the other thing.
But another thing about the film is the actual scenery. Like it was like small towns and the roads and all that. So
That's
it
nice.
was, yeah, it looked pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. And there was this one scene where, I don't know what it meant, I don't know if it was meant to happen, but the Wilkinson had a daughter,
Mhm.
and the daughter was supposed to be like that person who was like Elliot's best friend in the ballet scene, the
Yeah.
ballet world. And as she was talking to him about whether or not he should tell his dad about him being in ballet, he was all like, I don't know, I'll do it later. And so Elliot was leaving, he left, and this car was passing by, and the daughter just stayed there, watching him leave, and this car was passing by, and as it passed by, she was gone. So I don't know what that meant,
Yeah.
because it never was mentioned again. I don't know what that means.
So, but was she an actual person?
She wasn't an actual person because she appears a couple more times afterwards.
And then it's like made clear that she's the daughter of this professor, right?
Yeah,
Like they show them together. and
yeah,
stuff.
because we see the instructor drive her from the gym to the house.
there.
And there was this one scene where Elliot was visiting Wilkinson, and she was there.
She was there.
And then they went to the bedroom, and they were like, hey, sexual tension. And then they were like, and then
So did he like her? Like it seemed like he liked her?
kind of, yeah.
Okay.
There was this one scene where she offered to show him her private area.
Okay, how?
And no, she was like, well, what she said was, I can show you my fanny if you like. And then he was like, Nah.
Sure, why not?
He was like, nah, you're good, and then leaves.
I have to
What
go
the
top
heck? That
dance.
sounds so awkward.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
And that's it. That's all our time.
Man. Oh, well, I was gonna ask.
I
So
have some more
maybe they were
mentions.
making it seem like maybe they were making it seem like that was like such a, I guess, a fleeting chance for him like to have a moment where he was gonna go tell his dad, but then she, like the way that they made her disappear as soon as the car passes by, like it was a fleeting chance that he had maybe.
Maybe that could have been what it meant.
I don't know. Because they weren't making it seem like she was a ghost.
I don't
That's not
think
what it made
so.
it
We
seem like.
never hear it.
Because that's what normally happens when they want to insinuate they're a ghost, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, maybe it was just a typo.
I don't know.
Maybe she was leaving as the car was passing by, and they
Yes.
decided to keep that in.
I don't know.
But
We're not
Honorable
shooting
mentions.
again.
Joe says he has honorable mentions.
I went honorable mention Chicago.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Chicago.
2002 by Rob Marshall. He was actually
I
the same
haven't
guy who
actually
made
seen that.
It's a great film.
I've seen it a little bit.
Oh, you can also watch Billy Elliot on Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it. Netflix.
So the honorable mentions I have is movies that I grew up watching as well. One of them was Honey.
Oh yeah. Honey.
Stomp the
You
Yard.
just like Honey because of her.
Who's
I
her?
bet. What's her name? Jessica Alba.
Just okay with it.
That's
And
why I like it.
Stomp the Yard was pretty good.
Stomp the Yard. Yeah.
I liked it. It was different.
It was different because it, didn't so much have to do with like
Yes.
too many crazy moves. It was like mainly about unison and brotherhood and stuff like that. That's the fraternities.
Oh yeah.
And what else?
And I had another one, but since you talked, I forgot.
Oh, sorry. What are the other ones that I have to mention? I liked Dance With Me, which was Vanessa Williams and Chayanne. Did you ever see that one?
No, I haven't.
So Chayanne is like this super sensation, Hispanic. He's Latino. He's a super really good, like known for his salsa dancing, and this movie is mainly based around salsa, and it's a whole kind of like the concept of the other movies that you were saying, where it's someone who's like coming from a grimy area, and then someone who's actually like a dance instructor, like does it professionally, and so they mix the two because they show how she's really like professional, but he's comes from a background where you learn this salsa dancing on the streets, like it's what you grow up with, it's your family, like at your house parties and stuff like that, So I like that one a lot, and then what other one?
Save the Last Dance.
No, I didn't really see that one though.
You didn't see
There's another
Save
one
the
with
Last
Jennifer
Dance?
Lopez.
That's Shall We Dance.
Shall We Dance? Jennifer Lopez and Richard Gere.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You can also watch the original Japanese version of that film.
Oh yeah, I forgot. There's a Japanese version. That was the original one. What other one? I think that's pretty much what I can remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm tired. Go binge watch Stranger Things season 3. I'm out.
Okay, that's it. I've been Nathaniel Avila.
I've been Ruby Rodriguez.
Her husband.
All right,
Joe
bye everybody.
Rodriguez. Bye.
Bye.
Later.